like I'm just trying to link this back to sort of your traditional e-commerce. And there's a lot of, I think, different types of e-commerce where content can be very helpful. Like for instance, I think baby products. You tend to have like people who buy baby products tend to do a ton of research before they buy something. It's their kid. Like I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
dad. I know I did that before I bought a stroller. So maybe there's different products that you have which people tend to need to do a little bit more research on, and they could apply the same tactics that you talked about. Like it doesn't mean that this is like a software app kind of thing only. Like I'm pretty sure an e-commerce company could even do webinars too.
Exactly. No, I think all these things that are seem so basic before, like blogging, newsletters, webinars or videos, like things that you didn't really focus on because the inbound side was working, like those PPC ads were working, the Facebook ads were working, the outbound calls or the inbound calls were working, or outbound calls were working. But all those things were kind of just on the wayside. You didn't really focus on them. Now is definitely the time to focus on that because that's what is in your control. You don't have control over everything else that's happening. You just have control on your own business. So
Right.
if you have to be really fine tuning all those processes, again, I know I'm sounding like a broken clock, but it's what every business is doing right now. So if you're not doing it, you're really losing right now.
Yeah. Um, and I guess the other question which comes to my mind when we're talking about this is that you mentioned when you started doing this work for Catsy, but even if we talk about this jewelry store, one of the more annoying things about SEO is that you don't get the quick result, right? And it takes
Yeah.
time. So I say it's annoying because generally when you start doing something, you really want some quick feedback so you get some validation that you're doing the right thing, right? Strategy changes are expensive. So what kind of measurement or how, like, what would you advise someone who's thinking, who's now thought, all right, that this sounds good, I've got to get my keywords, I got to get my strategy, I'm going to write some content, but how do I measure this? Like, how long do I have to wait till I know that this is working? And if it's not, how do I change
That's a really good question because this is a big pain point in SEO because anytime you do change, actually it could hurt you the first couple weeks.
that?
Like
Sure.
even if you're doing a really good change, you might see drops in everything because there's a Google dance that it's going to happen. I usually like to see the drop because that means I'm doing something well, but there's other ways to see how you're doing. And I think the number one way is just through uh, the webmaster console, their search console in Google. There's so
Hmm.
many tools there to see. You can see where you're, what position you are for whatever keywords you are, what kind of keywords you have, like those long tail keywords you can find right there. You can see the impressions, how many people are seeing your keyword and how many people are clicking on it. So the click-through ratio, that's incredibly powerful at the beginning to see if people are clicking more on your content. Doesn't matter where that content is. It might be on the 10th page, 7th page. If people are clicking on it more, you've done some positive work on that thing. I think that
Mm.
search console is a wealth of information. There's so much more information you can see to judge if your content is working or not. But it's honestly that's a great question because it's really hard to judge it, especially in the first couple months, because SEO really is a long game. Like, especially like when with Catsy, I would say the first couple weeks when I was doing changes, we definitely saw a downward trend. But the
Right.
last couple months, it's just been all upward because Google's trying to find your authority again to see if you actually have a brand voice or if you actually are doing the right kind of link building. And right now, it's kind of testing you those first couple because it's seeing you're making a lot of changes. So that's a great question, but I would definitely recommend checking out the Search Console. And even there's a lot of things you can do just to help your SEO that a lot of businesses do. I was a consultant before Catsy, and you wouldn't believe how many people just don't have like a sitemap or don't
Right.
like do very basic things in the Search Console that it will immediately impact your business. Like there's so much profitability being lost with people not focused on SEO. It's an easy way to get some people inbound.